Let's start right out. Hey, what happened?
Yes, sir. Hi, friends. Welcome. My name is Dean. Welcome to the program. That is Lachlan Cross from 95.7 Cruise FM in Edmonton. He joins us for the podcast almost every day. Won't be here tomorrow because he's got to take a little person to the chiropractor. That's okay. Sorry. You talking? What do you got?
Yeah, Jimmy's messed up. I got to get him to my man Jordan over at Flex.
Okay.
So I've been giving him daily chiropractic sessions, but it's just a hobby for me.
Yeah,
so
sure, it's helping.
Professional.
That is Greg Bond. Bondzee Live is where you can find him on Twitter. Tripping with Bondzee is the name of the podcast. I just want to start out with a brief exchange that I saw here on Twitter. It's funny because I know we all like each other and we all support each other, but this exchange makes me laugh. So we put out a promo every day of the show. It's got kind of a little snippet of the show. Yesterday we put one out about Mr. Ford's birthday. So this guy tweets to us after watching it. And I love this. Dude, it's engagement. It's funny. I know this guy's like 70 followers. He probably doesn't really understand what's happening, but that's okay because it's feedback. This show is just shit. He then says, it's the Dean/Karen show. That was a short comeback. Now I remember everyone wanted him off the fan and at CFNY. I thought that was which is the Edge where he used to work. Lachlan replies, there's a solution here. Stop listening. You'll have more time to troll people with your nameless account. He replies, the Cruise FM show is great. Even got some guy members on the team in Tennessee shop streaming it right now. Works out good with the time chains. Dean's just not entertaining. That's when Lachlan changes his entire mood. He's like, thanks for listening.
Way to go, Lach.
I'm on board with trolling somebody until they compliment me.
And then you're like, you're right. Dean's a fuck.
And and I'm sending him some stickers.
Anyway, it's just a nice way to start the program. I thought, fuck, my friends are so supportive until someone says, fuck you, Lach's okay, Dean's an ass. And you're like, yeah, Dean is an ass. You're right. Thanks so much. That's Appreciate it.
Awesome.
Yeah, I just stole your guest. He's throwing you right under the bus.
Dude, I don't care. It's funny because when a guy was 60,
I knew you'd get a good chuckle out of
oh, fuck, did I laugh. I read it just before we came on, and I'm like, that fucking guy's awesome. He just sewered me as soon as the guy complimented him. He's like, you know what? I take it back. Fuck Dean. You're right. My show's the best.
That's great.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, that is exactly how radio people are, by the way. And Lach at 95.7 Cruise FM. It's so true, right? In radio, you could be on like a team of like 4 people, a morning show, and you'll be like, this is my crew, my group. And as soon as your PD comes down, he's like, got to get rid of one of you guys' head count. And you're like, yeah, get rid of that guy. Fuck him.
Well, that happened to me.
It happens all the time. Happened to me.
Yeah. They called me in a room and said, we need to get rid of your co-host. And I went, whew, not me.
I love the pushback.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God. So I'm good. All right. Listen, let me sneak out before I see her because that'll be awkward. Okay. How about that one? I've had that one where we fired people.
Dude,
that was my move. We'd have someone on the show or someone working with us, and they'd come to us and go, "Got to get rid of somebody," or that guy's fired because of this. And I'm like, okay, cool. Let me just sneak out the back, and I'll just block them while I'm sneaking out the back from all my social media and stuff. So I don't have to have this conversation about what happened because I really don't care if you get rid of that person. It's fucking funny though, isn't it?
I would go to the wall for Jimmy.
Mhm.
I swear to God, if anyone tried to do anything to Jimmy, and I would walk in a heartbeat. But he's the only one I've worked with in a long time that I would go to the mat for.
That's the part that this business that a lot of people don't understand. It was like that Don Cherry, and I'm dredging up old stuff like the Don Cherry, Ron McLean thing. Everybody's like, Ron's a loser for not literally walking away from $1 million a year.
Yeah,
you're like,
well, not only that, all of these guys, if they're on it doesn't even matter if it's radio. If you're in the middle of a problem at work and someone's getting fired, what do? Does everyone walk off and quit? No.
You run for the fucking exits, and you're like, thank God I got a job.
You wave at him while he's walking to his car in the parking lot from the lunchroom.
You know what I love are those phone calls that happen after the person
week?
Does this mean we're not having a barbecue? By the way, can I get the $40 you owe me?
Yeah. You still haven't paid up. You still haven't paid up on the Leafs.
Still for the football pool.
The Leafs lost.
Yeah. Hey, I know you just got fired, but you still owe me $80 for the football pool. I remember this one time, no word of a lie. We worked with this promotions guy, great guy. His name was Jonathan Sinden, and they let him go. And they told me they were letting him go ahead of time because I had the privilege of them coming to me and going, hey, they go, hey, we're going to fire this guy. And I'd be like, so be it. I mean, what are you going to do? And it was always funny when I would have these conversations about people they were going to get let go in the business because they were really nice about including me in that stuff for some fucking reason. I don't even know why. Anyway, they would tell me about this stuff. And I remember one time they're like, we're going to fire John Sinden. And I'm like, no problem. So they tell me about it. About an hour later, I walk past John and I'm like, hey, man, how's it going? He goes, yeah, real good. And nothing. And I'm like, this guy's going to have a terrible 20 minutes. So I go to the bathroom. I literally come out after having just a championship dump. And this is a true story. I walk out of the bathroom and he's in front of the elevators and I'm washing my hands with a paper towel. I'm like, hey, man. And he's like, yeah, I just got fired. I'm like, oh, well, see you later. Because I didn't know what to say to the guy. I was like, I guess. He goes, did you know this was happening? And my face goes bright red. And I'm like, yeah, but I got to go. So I'll talk to you later. How's that sound? And it was like, but that's like fucking literally in radio. It was like, and you'd get it every like 3-4 months where they'd go through and they'd clean house. And sometimes it's a yearly thing like with the bigger companies, but it's like the fucking worst, when your friend gets fired or someone that's with you gets the gas can and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, fuck, like this Rogers thing. Are you still watching the Game of Thrones mess with Rogers?
I am. I'm in love with Martha. I want to meet Martha.
So do I. So bad. I want to get her on the show.
You got to try to get Martha on the pod.
Yeah.
I think she'd come on.
I don't know. She follows me. We had a nice little exchange this weekend. I follow her.
Ask her.
Well, see, here's the thing: I was like watching her go through all this like upheaval in her life, where like her brother's trying to literally take over the company and get rid of his family members, which is what it looks like. And they're in court today. We got some details coming up here in a second. But to your point, I was watching this whole thing happen today and some of the new developments, and I was thinking, man, we got to get her on the show. And then I thought to myself, you know what's going to happen? Because she's probably been inundated with like literally thousands of requests because of her tweets, right? And because of the stand she's taken against her brother and trying to protect the company and trying to protect the employees and trying to protect what her dad built. And I'm like, everybody's trying to get to her. No, they are. Everybody's trying to get, and I know that they're trying to get to her because I know people that are involved in this at a very high level. And I can't say any more than that, which is how I get my information. It's the best. And she's been inundated, and she's such a private person. Like I knew about her previously, but I didn't really get a chance to know it. And so, these little exchanges I've had with her have been incredible. And she's above board, and it doesn't matter what. But it was like, and I said to her, "You got my support. And if there's anything else you need, let me know." And so that was it. Like that was the exchange. It's got nothing to do with like me saying, hey, you got to get on the show, need you to come in. Because she's probably being inundated with it, and she's trying to fucking save her company, right? She's trying to save her family.
Well, she may also want to pick somebody that is not involved directly in these two companies. And that's very hard to do
between Bell and Rogers, you mean?
Yeah. Like, yeah. And how do you do that? And how do you pick somebody that is gonna let you do what you want or say what you want to say and have sort of this kind of relaxed environment?
I don't know.
Right?
I'm happy. Listen, this is as a service, anybody that, well, I'm not going to. That's the thing. But if Martha wants to come on, I would happily facilitate that and not try to drive a narrative. Just let her talk. Because if you're watching her on Twitter, Martha L. Rogers, this is what she put out today. So a couple hours ago, she puts out disclosure update. I got a team of lawyers now, brother and old guards, and they're all women. So she's like, and then she hashtags her brother, Ed Rogers saga, hashtag old guard down. And not done there. This is just in the last couple hours. This is a story, and this is a true story. It's in the Sun and the Globe. Loretta Rogers is Martha's mom. She's 82. She did an interview with Brian Lilly, which I'm not going to get into, but she's basically said, my son, Ed Rogers, misled me about Joe Natale's performance. So effectively now, Martha's saying that her mom was lied to so that Ed could get control of the company and wrest it away from Joe Natale, who's the rightful CEO, and misrepresented his work, misrepresented the stuff in a conversation with the mom so that he could get the mom's vote. And now the mom, the two daughters, Melinda and Martha, are like, no. And now they got the support of the real board. So it's fucking go time, to the point where she puts this out, which I thought was fascinating. She's talking about the mayor of the city of Toronto here. This is fucking
he's involved in this too, isn't it?
Oh, dude, yep. I got it for you. This is Game of Thrones shit. John Tory says, this is Martha Stewart's tweet. Martha Rogers, not Martha Stewart. Tory says, work to mediate Rogers' dispute occurred in his spare time because there was a big problem yesterday. There was a huge mediation session for like 10 hours between all the different factors, and John Tory is deeply involved in this because he was very good friends with Ted Rogers, and he's also one of the senior board members at Rogers. Still takes about $100,000 out of that, which is good for him. And I oh yeah, totally. And so I really like John.
Sitting mayor, he's allowed to sit on a board like for sure. that.
Yep.
Like and get paid.
Yep.
That seems wrong to me. Why does that seem wrong?
Well, it seems wrong because he's a policymaker. Right? Yeah. As a legal guy, he's a policymaker. So as a policymaker in the city where this massive company is, it gives the impression of conflict of interest, collusion, if they get any benefit in policy, if they get any real estate, like, stuff like that.
What are they paying him?
$100,000 a year.
$100,000 a year.
Seat. Yeah.
Not
pretty standard. 150. A lot of guys like John. And listen, I know John. He is a very good man.
Doesn't he already make enough money?
John's got lots of money. He doesn't need the money. He doesn't even give a shit about his mayor salary. Like, literally, he's a very wealthy man, and he's done very well for himself. He's one of the very few people I know who, when I got fired, so case in point, when I got fired, he inserted himself into my process as well. So for a while, I had Kevin Smith and John Tory on my behalf, talking with the people that owned the radio station at the time, the Shaw family, and of course our president at the time, John Cassidy. So John is he's a deal maker and a peacemaker. He really, really is. He's on the board. Martha has a problem with John. I don't want to get into it. That's not my space. But
I think Martha's just mad at the old boys club as a whole, like the old guard, and John's part of it. Sure. And Edward has inserted himself into it as well, right?
Well, Edward has misrepresented everybody's work ethic so he can take over the company. That's the understanding. So the problem here is that John Tory, who's the mayor of Toronto, spent like 10 hours in this meeting, which is like 10 hours he didn't spend governing the city, and everybody here has a problem with it. That part I get. This is the tweet she put up. Tory says to work to mediate Rogers' dispute occurred in his spare time. Actually, no, Martha says. That's not the truth, John. We were there for 9/10 hours outside of you leaving for 45 minutes to do a press conference, unless the mayor has Thursdays off.
She's
savage,
awesome.
Yeah.
She is just taking the knives and going like this.
Yeah.
And she's got
and
she's got all the family backing, all the family power, and Ed's out on a fucking island.
I'll tell you what's going on here, right? Like she is not letting up. And these guys, these are powerful men.
Sure.
They're not used to this. This kind of stuff doesn't happen to these people. So they don't know how to deal with it. Like there's some lamps being broken in some offices across the country here because of her.
Oh, dude!
Like that's what I love about it, because these guys not only do they achieve these sort of spots and these positions in life, they think they deserve it.
Oh yeah, right? They're entitled to it. It's theirs.
They're entitled to it, and you're going to treat me with respect because I'm wearing a $3,000 suit, and you're a dick. That's the way these people think, and they don't like it when somebody stands up to them, and they don't get that very often.
Well, these guys are used to having reputation manage PR, right? They're used to like, hey, listen, don't fuck with that. I've known this for years. Like, let me take you back to 2014, 2015. Jays are about to go on a heater. It was the year Josh Donaldson was in town with Russell Martin and Jose Bautista. You remember this kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. During that season, Paul Beeston, who I know well and is just an incredible man, he used to be the president of the Blue Jays. I've had lunch with him. I've had just a wonderful, wonderful man. You would love him because I've never been with him at a lunch that's lasted more than 2 hours that he's had less than 17 beers. You would love him.
My kind of guy.
He is fucking salt of the earth. Anyway, so Ed absolutely tarnished his entire reputation when he tried to punt him in favor of some guy that he knew in Chicago. And literally the Major League Baseball commissioner just told Ed to fuck off. Leave Paul Beeston alone. Because Paul Beeston used to work for Major League Baseball. He's the assistant commissioner of Major League Baseball for a long time. Like a really fucking long time.
Yeah.
Then we had the Guy Lawrence fiasco, right? Guy Lawrence was in charge of Rogers Media for Rogers Communications for a very, very long time. He grew out of favor with Ed, so he punted Guy Lawrence because Guy Lawrence, and it cost Ed $26 million of their money. No one seemed to care. Ed didn't care. I mean, and then now this, right? Now he's apparently hoodwinked his mom. That's the latest thing to try and get this other guy removed because he wants more control, whatever the situation is. It is a coup, as Martha said, to what John Tory's involvement was the other day, which is incredible because if you think about it, the vortex of this bullshit has literally surrounded the media industry. Share prices are dropping. And the mayor of the city of Toronto, literally about 20 minutes ago, said this in regards to his working on a Rogers deal for 10 hours while he wasn't the mayor of the city of Toronto. As much as I love John, I get it. And this was his answer. Watch this.
Did attend a meeting on a weekday, and it did take quite a number of hours. I would say if you look at it over the course of a year or 2 years or the 7 years that I've been mayor, there are many, many times. I don't distinguish, frankly, between work days and weekdays. I mean, I generally many weeks work 7 days of the week, and all the days are the same. So yes, I took some time to go to that meeting to try and help with the matters that I've made previous reference to help this family and to help a company that employs 25,000 people, many of them in Toronto, to get through this. And at no time, during that very same day, I gave a press conference at City Hall. I was still at my desk at 6 o'clock in the morning before that meeting started, and I went to an art event after it was finished. And so, look, people can pick this stuff over if they want to. I will just say that I will continue to place the City of Toronto first and its people and its issues, as I always have. And I will continue to place the rules that apply to me first and comply with them completely, as I always have.
So he got caught in a lie. Stop lying. This all these things, politicians, everybody.
But they don't know how to do anything else.
These politicians, they're all listening to this show. This is their daily entertainment. I understand it, and I know you take advice from me. I'm sitting in my basement. I'm probably going to have 6 beer tonight. I live in St. Albert, and I have a dog, and I know how important my advice is to you. Stop fucking lying, you idiots. Yeah. Stop lying.
He gets triggered, Bonds.
I see that.
He gets triggered, yeah.
And 6 beer, by the way, only. I'm thinking more we're on the 8 to 10 train today, probably.
Bondzee?
Maybe 12.
Bondzee?
But listen.
Who's counting?
Think about
you and my wife, apparently.
Yeah. Think about, because I don't care.
Bro.
Think about literally like one guy's attempt who's already got lots of power, who's already got all the money, his attempt to get more. That's what this is about. And what it's ruining, it is ruining his family. It is ruining the mayor of the city of Toronto, who has a sterling reputation, who I know well and is a very good man.
He made some good points in his press. He got caught in a lie, but he made some really good points in that press conference. He's going to get dragged into this because the share is going down, and it is impacting.
Well, hold it. Here's the other thing: is that he is like if you were going to look for if you were going to ask somebody to give you a proper representation of who Ted Rogers is, it's John Tory. Like John Tory is, and his family, his father, who used to own Tory's law services, still, it's still a long story. They're all friends, family friends since Johnny T was a little guy. And so he feels he's got a duty to it, right? Like, listen, I'm not coming down on the guy. I don't care how he spends his days, the fucking mayor of Toronto. Like that, and I've asked him several times personally, like, fuck, are you tired of going to like grand openings of a Krispy Kreme? Are you tired of showing up to like, ALS fundraisers, like 5 a night, 6 a night? And he's like, no, because it's really important that the city feels that I'm here for them. Like he is legitimately a very good man and an excellent mayor. But I'm saying like the greed and the entitlement, which is what you're seeing in action, greed and entitlement, and what one man will do to try to get all of it, even though he already has it. It is fucking mind-blowing to me from that perspective, from the human perspective. Like, share price is tanking, investors are losing their money, dividends, see you later. There's the financial portion of it. And then there's the familial portion of it, where he's literally ruined. It's over. These people don't, like, the what's left of the Rogers family doesn't want to have anything to do with fucking Ed. That much I know. His friends. I know people who he's been friends with and done business with for eons. And I talked to them, and you know what they say? He's fucking lost it, dude. Like, he's lost it. And so in the big scheme of things, there's like there's so much going on here, but like it's legitimately like she's sewering everyone and anyone to protect her family. Like, who wouldn't do that? Right? Like, if it's a family business lock, let's say your dad didn't walk out for a pack of smokes at the age of 7 and never come back. And he left behind this massive company, and all of a sudden someone tries to come along and tell you that you're no longer part of it, even though he left it, and it's been in your family for years, and there's a great source of pride, and you employ 24,000 people. Like the sisters and the mom, they're trying desperately to put a cap on this so that they can service 24,000 employees, so they can service their clients, so they can keep everything going. And Ed's legitimately trying to burn it to the ground. It's awesome. Fuck, it's unbelievable. I've never been so taken by something in my life.
I can't say what I would do because I've never had that type of family dynamic. Like, we've never. I come from a splintered family, right? Like, I couldn't get away from my hometown fast enough. I was in I slept off my all-night party, and I packed up the Toyota Celica, and I fucked off that Saturday morning after I graduated. I picked up my diploma on the Friday, went to the all-night party, got home at 6 o'clock in the morning, slept till 2 or 3, packed my car, and drove away. And I never went back. I have zero connection to family, to a business. You know what I mean? Like, so I can't wrap my head around what that is. Like, everything I have, I built on my own.
Yep.
Which is Jack Johnny Canuck squat shit, because I'm about $500,000 in debt. That's why I love it when people ask me for change outside of Tim Hortons.
Yeah. As soon as I pay off my mortgage, I'll give you some change. You ever say that to somebody?
You know what I love the most?
I feel really bad
lock?
for you.
Yesterday, there's a poll put out on Twitter, and I think it was Lindley who retweeted it and tagged you, me, I think Army Chris, James P. White, and said, would you guys quit drinking for $3 billion? Give up alcohol. Can never touch it, buy it, never have it again. I'm the only one who said, no problem, I could do that. Every one of these guys were like, fuck that. I'm like,
I've gotten by with next to no money, Bondzee. Why change things now? So what are you going to take away? The one thing I actually look forward to every day? That's the point.
Debt free, $3 billion.
Keep your fucking $3 billion. Yeah. But there's more important things to money. My alcoholism is way more important than being rich.
Well, yeah, you're a different cat than me then. Holy shit.
Speaking of money, Blackhawks. Did you guys see the $2 million fine the NHL levied on the Chicago Blackhawks?
Can you play the church fight? Because I promised everybody that we were.
Well, we will. We'll play it at the end. End.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. We'll play that
on Facebook. We're starting with a church fight. Don't want to let him down.
Do you want to get to the church fight first? Do you want to do that? Let's finish it at the end. Let's keep with the serious shit. Then we'll get to the fun shit, and then we'll get the heck out of here. But the Chicago Blackhawks yesterday, 4-month investigation. As we all know, an assistant coach, Brad Aldrich, was accused of sexually assaulting a couple of players back in their Stanley Cup run of 2010. Blackhawks hired a outside independent investigator. That investigator came back and found that indeed the Chicago Blackhawks did not further the interests of this victim. And indeed, they went to great lengths to cover it up. So yesterday, the Chicago Blackhawks fired legitimately everybody that was with the team back in 2010 that's still with the team, including Stan Bowman. This is from Bleacher Report. Stan Bowman resigned as GM of the Blackhawks following an investigation of sexual assault allegations made by a player from the 2010 Stanley Cup winning team. That is from the Chicago Blackhawks official account. So you know what it's all about. I find it all very interesting for a bunch of reasons. Because
it's shining an underlight. It's shining a light on the underbelly of a lot of what, and not every sports organization is dealing with this specifically, but there is a lot of cover up, not just in the NHL, but in the NFL, in baseball. They go out of their way to protect the brand. Oh my God, and they go to great lengths to protect the image. And this one bit them in the ass. I'm actually surprised they didn't bury this story. The fact that we're talking about this is the most shocking part of this story. And this is an awful, awful, awful story, in my opinion. Dean and I have been in media for a long, long time. We know all about these organizations and the things that they do and the lengths they'll go to keep a story like this quiet, and they quash things.
Oh yeah, dude. And it's a concerted effort. It's like, we talked about it with crisis management companies. Those guys are called in and then they make decisions that are in the best interest of the team. But more importantly, because the NHL is set up as a quorum, it's set up as a collective, each team owns 1/32 of the whole of the NHL, right? So, the Blackhawks are an NHL partner, right? They're partners of the NHL. So what's interesting is that after the investigation, they come back and they file a report. This is the chief investigator talking about what they found. It's only a minute long. Have a listen. It'll kind of lay the groundwork for what we're going to talk about. It's interesting.
Further alleged that the Blackhawks were made aware of the alleged sexual assault by Aldrich soon after it occurred and failed to act to address the assault. Over the course of the last 4 months, we independently investigated first the conduct of the former video coach, Brad Aldrich, in and around May 2010. Second, the extent to which individuals affiliated with the Blackhawks, including those in senior management, knew about Aldrich's conduct in May 2010, and when and how those individuals learned about the conduct. And third, when and how individuals affiliated with the Blackhawks, including those in senior management, responded to the information they learned about Aldrich's conduct in May 2010. Our investigation was independent and it was thorough. The Blackhawks directed us to follow the facts wherever they led, and that is exactly what we did. We were permitted to conduct an investigation independent of interference or influence.
Okay, so what they found was is that they covered it up. Like, what they took it to Bowman here, and I'll give you the Coles notes. Is the victim goes to the team. The team then takes this, including Johnny Taves, Patrick Kane, a couple other guys. They then take it to the management of the team. Management of the team gets together. Involved in that meeting, Tim Cheveldayoff, who's now the general manager of the Jets. Not only was he involved in that meeting, but I believe Joel Quenneville, who was the head coach of the team, Stan Bowman, and several other people who've been named and since either been fired or just haven't been able to come back yet. So long story short, they found that indeed the Blackhawks covered it up. They covered it up by not following it up, and the reason for it, according to that investigative reporter, the independent investigator, the reason for it was they thought as a group they should put a cap on it, not talk about it, get through the playoffs because they were real close to winning the cup.
You know what? I have a theory.
Yeah.
Every single organization has its warts. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter if it's a sports team, a radio station, or a construction company. There's shit that happens behind the scenes that might be common knowledge, but it's not celebrated. It's not in the news. It just somehow happens and everybody moves on, right? And sometimes it involves people higher up, right? Like we all know when the boss is fucking the secretary. Like everybody knows that's happening.
Oh yeah.
And sometimes the boss leaves his wife and marries the secretary. And sometimes he fires the secretary. And again, that I'm not saying that any of that's right. I'm not condoning any of it. I think what happens in situations like this, and this is awful to compare it to, to romances or fooling around in the office. But I think what happens is
you're talking about bad decisions, right? That
I'm
certain
talking
people
about,
high up
yes.
make. Yeah.
Everybody, I think, in that situation thought about it like that. Okay, as awful as this is, this poor kid, but this is just another one of those fucking office drama things.
That's how it's looked at in the NHL. It's NHL culture 101. It's big business 101. I can tell you that it exists. Absolutely.
It totally does.
Yeah.
Hockey players are morons. Hockey players get caught doing cocaine at the River Cree in the bathroom. Hockey players, all sorts of crazy. They get caught taking hookers to their room in New York. Like they do awful things. These things, they get clamped down and shut down right away. And it happens weekly, if not daily, in some of these bigger organizations.
Well, some of these organizations too, like you heard about this cop that was involved, senior cop. He was literally hired by the organization to not cover this stuff up, to police this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was hired by the organization to help these kids at the time.
That should be it.
Like a fucking red line. And every organization has former cops as security guys who know other cops, so they can talk to like different people on the force saying, hey, you know what? And you talk to guys, dude, this is like one of the most fucking salaciously open secrets in professional sports and in big business. It's like there are fixers. They hire people to do that. And so this cop didn't do anything either, which compounded the problem, right? And on top of compounding the problem, and I found this really fucking interesting, at least I found it very interesting, is that really only one mainstream media reporter in Hockey Crazy Canada and only one entity talked about it. Talked about the actual allegations and the investigation on performance. Well, of course I did, but because I look for it, right? Rick Westhead.
I did not hear about it. I did not fucking hear about this until this summer.
Yeah. Dude, it's incredible.
I never had a sniff of this, not once.
You didn't see anything on Sportsnet? No, of course you didn't. So Rick Westhead works for TSN. He's a tremendous reporter. And TSN, to their credit, they are a Bell company. And I think it had something to do with the fact that the NHL is Sportsnet's official broadcast partner, which is why TSN did this, because it's competition. But at the very least, Rick reported honestly on this the entire time on behalf of TSN. And here's the fucking crazy part. As he said here, we've reported 16 stories so far from the allegations of sexual abuse and a cover-up with the Blackhawks organization. 16. As we await the NHL team's comments, I want to say I appreciate the TSN Sports fosters a culture where we can pursue important journalism, which can come at a cost.
Mm-hmm.
The very first story critical of any part of this allegation, instead of just calling it an allegation, on any Rogers format or any Sportsnet website, anything to do with Sportsnet and Rogers, which is the major partner of the NHL, nothing. Fucking zero.
Dude, they clamped this stuff down. They shut it down. That's the world we live in.
But is that not, let me ask you this, both of you guys, is that not
Bullshit.
Complicitness?
Yeah. It's why
in your mind?
It's why, okay, the league may have fined Chicago $2 million.
Fucking nothing.
This John Doe is going to, they're going to need a Brinks truck. Because this is going to go to civil court.
Mm-hmm.
And all these guys are going to get hauled into court over this.
Yeah, I know that there's like civil ramifications. I'm going to get to the John Doe's victim statement, but I'm talking about the responsibility of media, like the responsibility of sports media. And in Hockey Crazy Canada, one entity's talking about it. One. And do you know why the other ones won't? Exactly. Because the NHL
passes at the rinks
and Sportsnet have a $5.2 billion deal they got to satisfy. And as an official partner of the NHL, Sportsnet and the NHL.
It's not just media. This happens all the time at every level of business team.
I know, but I'm finishing this up. Openly denied information to all of us. Openly denied it to everybody, including the victim, which is the sickest part to me. Like, if you're a sports organization, if you're an organization and you have the opportunity to help the victim of a sexual assault by just reporting on it, unbiasedly, and you refuse to do that, you're a fucking loser. Run by a group of losers that work with losers. This is the victim's comment. John Doe really wants to remain unnamed. He says, and I love this. Today, I'm grateful for the accountability from Rocky Danny Wirtz and the Blackhawks organization. I also want to thank Jenner and Block, that was the organization, and specifically Reed Shar for the respect they showed me throughout their investigation. Although nothing can truly change the detriment of my life over the past decade, this guy's been dealing with this for 10 years, and people remain silent. News organizations with the NHL who
this guy
are
was
still
clearly a
fucking
predator
guilty.
too. Like, that's the thing that blows me away, is that he had there was a history of this before he got into the Blackhawks organization too, wasn't there?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. And did it since. And the fact that when the Blackhawks actively decided to cover it up, he did it again to other people. So like more bad things happened after the fact that it happened because no one said anything. No one took the responsibility to the victim of a sexual assault seriously. He said, nothing can truly change the detriment of my life over the past decade because of the action of one man inside the Blackhawks organization. I am very grateful to have the truth be recognized. That's all he wanted. Look forward to continuing a long journey of recovery. I'd like to thank a couple people. I know I'm not the only victim in this world of sexual abuse. I hope my story can inspire change with the NHL and around the world. I thought that was nice. So at the very least, the victim, which is the most important part, that he got closure or some closure, and he's working towards that. Backing up the Brinks truck, not a bad deal either.
I don't hate that.
Who knows if they have an arrangement, and that's why he put that. I mean, it doesn't even matter. What matters is that I fucking hope Sportsnet takes this shit seriously. I really do from now on, because it is such a disgusting look to pretend like sexual abuse doesn't exist and for the only specific reason of protecting their money. It is bizarre.
Yeah.
It is bizarre.
Does it tarnish the Blackhawks organization forever after this?
Fuck yes.
Yeah. But again, Bondzee, I bet you there's stuff like this on certain levels, and I hope not like this, because I don't know if people heard the rumors about what this guy was doing.
Brett Aldrich.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People
apparently
know.
Like it was apparently. Awful. From what I've read, he corner guys threatened them with their jobs in the NHL and other things if he didn't let them do stuff to them. Let him do stuff to them.
That's wild.
Very Graham Jamesy.
So how
along
come
the same lines.
Everybody in the Chicago Blackhawks organization from 2010, when this happened, is fired? How come the other guys that aren't with that organization, but they're still in the NHL. How come they're not fired?
That's coming, I think. I wonder how they'll handle that because
Leafs
their
get the
involvement
Blackhawks tonight, by the way.
And they got a COVID situation too, don't they? Doesn't Taves have COVID or something? I think he does.
Know.
Anyway,
I
I mean, Bondzee, I think that's an interesting question because there are a handful of people we're talking about right now, and maybe even more that were involved that may have known about this that were part of, hoping that this
big cover up,
like sweep this under the rug and hopefully this goes away. That are currently
Mark
working.
Bergevin, Mark Bergevin, who's the general manager of the Habs.
Yep.
Tim Cheveldayoff. He was in that meeting.
He's the GM
of the
in
Jets.
Winnipeg. And
Bill Quenneville, head coach in Florida.
Yeah.
They're in that meeting. They all knew about this. And now that we know that they knew, you can actually literally back the tape up and see all three of them lying their dicks off when asked about it in previous press conferences. I didn't know about it. No idea about it. No idea what's going on. So
the only one that I think
if Tim Cheveldayoff, Bergevin, and Quenneville aren't out of hockey soon, they should be. Sorry, go ahead.
The only one that I think might have a bit of an out is Cheveldayoff in Winnipeg. Just seeing his story, I'm not sure how involved he was, Dean. He was a pretty minor member of that organization.
Dude, if you knew about it, and you did nothing about it,
doesn't change if you're on the low end of the pole or the top of the pole. If you knew about it, I gotta
be honest. Like, and people, I think people know how brutally honest I am in all aspects of my life. If I'm running that organization and somebody comes in and tells me, even just gives me an overview of what this dick was doing, I would have had him fucking hauled out. There's a good chance I might have got a couple of the members of the team to give him a good beating in the parking lot too. Like, I mean, honestly, I don't know how this just gets swept underneath the rug. I'm not even kidding. Like, I would have said, take him out back before you put him in a cab
and just beat the shit out of the guy.
Like, I would have, and you know what?
And it would have been over.
Yeah,
would have been over.
Well, no, I mean, that guy's like he's literally a flawed human being who can't stop sexually assaulting young men. So fuck him. Yeah, who gives a fuck?
He's sick. There's something more going on there that doesn't.
Dude, he's ruined lives over his sexual proclivity to be a fucking degenerate. So who cares if he gets his ass kicked? Someone put this out today because I put out a tweet. Said, while we're at it, let's take Sportsnet and Rogers Media to task. Rogers appears again. Weird. To ask actively why they didn't report on the Chicago Blackhawks sexual assault cover-up. As the NHL's broadcast partner, they're willingly dismissed the story, and it's fucking criminal, if you ask me.
You know what?
And then
you know what that does? You know what that does? That creeps way, 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 way up.
I know, because I tagged Rogers Media and Sportsnet both, so we'll see what happens.
No,
and then I got a great reply.
Not just that tweet, but that climbs. You start climbing the ladder, Dean. That's Bettman.
Mm-hmm.
Bettman knew about this.
Of course he did.
Everyone wants to sit here and have a fucking conversation about Joel Quenneville and Mark Bergevin and
what about Bill Daly?
The Chicago fucking like you're telling me Bettman didn't know about this? Of course he did. You're telling me that Bettman didn't get on the phone with the fucking head guys at Rogers across the country and go, I don't want to see any of this. None of it.
Yeah, I'd love to know what kind of phone calls. I'd love to see receipts of phone calls, who called who when. But I put that out. And a guy named Armstrong. So yeah, I will be, I think. Dude, we got legal suits, right? Everybody's now protecting their fucking investments. It's crazy. This guy Armstrong tweets back on the Hockey Central pregame last night. They were doing Canadian team power rankings while I was watching the Blackhawks stuff unfold live. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, look at this. Look at Deshaun, the quarterback.
Yeah, for Houston. All over the news.
Trading him. The Dolphins are probably going to pick him up. And you know what? I'm sure he's not guilty because there's only 20 women. All do the same thing that have accused him of fucking sexual misconduct. So you know what? Because he makes so much money and he's a quarterback, I'm sure he's not guilty. What the fuck? He's going to keep his job. He's still making money. Like, it's insane. These organizations,
it's a weird world we live in. That's for sure.
It is,
dude, and
it is, and it's funny because like people like us, like I'm not an enlightened individual, but I do understand the way that certain things work in this industry, right? So I'm fortunate. I'm grateful that I have been in these meetings. I've seen how it's worked. I've been the victim of it. I've been the proponent of it. I've done all of it. Like, and I get that part of it. But like the collusion here, and it was funny because like I remember when I was at Rogers for like 2 years, which is the worst experience of my life. I don't know if I've mentioned that, but anyway, long story short, when I was at Rogers, it was one of the first things they said to me was like, don't sewer the brand, don't sewer the brand's partners, no matter what you do. Because if you want to get fired, they would say this, you want to get fired, insult the family, their brand, or the NHL.
What have I said?
Go ahead and do it.
What have I said? If anybody ever gets fired,
it's about money.
Follow the money.
Yeah.
Follow the money. You can do the worst things ever until it starts impacting the bottom line, you'll be fine.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's crazy. And you know that's the sick part is that's what this whole thing is all about. It's all about protecting money and reputation, which isn't controllable. And it came at the cost of telling a victim of sexual assault, we don't care about you. Fucking crazy. Isn't it how the world works? Think about that.
Yeah.
Suck on that. It came at that cost where a man's life was ruined and they didn't care as long as they didn't lose any money. Fucking
it's
wild.
Not say like it is. And it hasn't changed, and it's not going to change anytime soon. Like I said, the most surprising, I'll repeat it. The most surprising thing from this story is that we're actually talking about it.
Yeah.
I can't believe this is out.
Finally.
Well, but we're one of very few. Not many people are because of the relationships that these entities touch. It's fucking hard to get information on this. Like I listen, and I crap on Bell all the time, but kudos to TSN, kudos to Rick Westhead, kudos to anybody that had the balls to tell the truth about something that was actively trying to be covered up. Fucking
I'd like to know what he meant at
the
end of his tweet, Rick, where he said, and it came at a cost.
I
wonder if his investigation back in the day helped pave the way for Sportsnet's $25 million deal, or Rogers' $25 million deal for the broadcast rights of the NHL.
You mean 5.2 billion?
Or 5.2 billion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Those are things like those are areas I can't go into. I can't speak to it. But
Bell was standing in line for that fucking deal.
Oh yeah. Well, it almost came down to it. You know how that deal happened? It was funny because Keith Pelly, who originally hired me, he's a great guy, and he used to be the president of Rogers. Great guy. I love him. He's wonderful. He's now the head of the European PGA. Fucking awesome, dude.
Wow.
He told me the story where they're down in California. They're talking to the NHL about the broadcast schedule, and he's just having a normal conversation with Gary. And Gary Bettman says Keith Pelly says to Bettman, he's like, just for fun, how much would it cost to get all the rights? He's like, $5 billion. He goes, okay. So he goes back to his hotel room, calls Nadir Muhammad, who's the head of CEO of Rogers at the time. Pelly was in charge of media. He's like, can we come up with $5 billion for all the rights of the NHL? And he's like, I think so. Yeah. That's legitimately how it happened. And Bell was supposed to meet with him about some other stuff after. And they're like, sorry, you're out. Fucking crazy, isn't it? So yeah, It's a really weird world. Weird world. No weirder than a fight in church. Do you remember this video from the other day? We had a lot of fun with it, by the way.
You are in trespass. You need to leave this church right now. When somebody hit the security guards. I'm not a trespass in the church. Keep your hands off me. I'm not trespassing. You are trespassing.
Just want to point out the altar boys that still have their hands in a prayer sign. Do you see the altar boys? They still got their hands like in the prayer pose, and there's a full-on brawl going on right in front of them. They're like, "Don't fucking break your hands, but otherwise, Father Mulcahy is going to get very upset and in trouble."
The thing that's sort of freaky about that is there's not a lot of screaming. Like there's there should be. It's church, but there's should
a
be
lot
a lot
of old blue hairs in there,
and girls in the
they're
back.
more in shock.
Stop it! What are you doing? Leave him alone! No, kick his ass!
Kick his ass, Seabass.
A little quiet.
Yeah.
Except
not a lot of people took exception. It was funny because all the young dudes ran up because they're like, of course, young guys are going to go up like, I'm the fucking hero. Here I come.
They kept coming.
Just
hogged one after the other.
Hauling that guy out. Yeah, dude. So, like, the crazy part about this is, and there's been an update on it. Apparently, someone said this wasn't about masks. Does it really fucking matter? It's the guy's nutso, and he tries to attack a priest, and literally Catholics come from around the pews to beat the shit out of the guy on the altar. Could you call it an altercation? Boom. Anyway, long story short, I know, you're welcome. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Altercation.
I'm not a big fan of puns, but I'll give you a little clap for that.
Thanks, big guy. But it's like it shocked the world. Like this thing has like 1 million views, and we put it out like 2 days ago. And it was a dude from the Sun, like a reporter from the Sun, that actually sourced the video, so he gets all the credit, which is fine. I don't have a problem with the guy. But this is apparently like one of the biggest videos across the world now, and they're literally dragging a guy out of church after he challenged a priest to a fight. Yeah. Fucking unbelievable. They grabbed him by the hair like a cat grabs its child, you know what I mean? Or grabs its kitten, where they bite the back of the neck and carry it. That's how they're dragging him out. They're dragging him out like an animal.
At one point,
Dad,
can
someone
please call 911? It just echoes through the whole church. like you need to really say that out loud.
Yeah, dude. But the crazy part was like, I thought to myself, I got the perfect gift for these guys, because I like to collect. I don't know if you guys know this. I like to collect religious memorabilia because I hate it so much.
No, you don't. Stop it.
I do. What? I do. I love collecting religious memorabilia. Really fucked up religious memorabilia, though. Yeah, I do. No word of a lie. Including this bad boy. It's called the At-Home Crucifixion Kit.
Oh, Jesus.
You too can crucify Jesus by yourself at home with this cool little hammer, a couple pieces of wood, and then of course you get the Christ himself. And the Christ in this package, this At-Home Crucifixion Kit, comes with pre-drilled holes.
How convenient.
I tell you what, they give these crazy people, like they just start throwing these things at all those people, like the Crucified Jesus at Home kit. Everybody relaxes. Everybody, because who fucking says no to crafts? Not me. Not this one.
Jesus is ripped there too. Look, he's got a 4-pack. Say missed the 6-pack, but he's working on it.
Yeah, he is, isn't he? That's all they had to do.
Your
was
parents get upset with you, Dean, when you talk about this stuff. And, me mom's watching right now, and she's upset with you, Dean.
Yeah. Anytime I take a rip on Jesus, they're like, "Do you have to?" I'm like, "Yeah, well, I don't think he's real." So I kind of.
So they've stepped out of the church, but they're still believers.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. They're good people. They listen. I don't have a problem. Fair. But it's funny because I bet you I get more hate from religious people, because from time to time I'll make my views on religion known, and sometimes it's a little bit of a negative take on their sky daddy, or
I've seen you
they get upset with me talking about the At-Home Crucifixion Kit. They get a little charged up over their Lord, which is fine.
I've had numerous encounters with the religious community and the communities that I've worked with, because of my strong opinions about religion. And I've tried over the years to taper it, because to be fair, I do not know enough about religion to have an opinion on it. I've never cracked the Bible. I've never been to church. I've only been in a church a handful of times, and once was to get married. That was because my wife wanted to get married in the church that her parents got married. Yeah. I still can't believe that the guide let me in, because I had to have him. I don't even know what religion it was, but we had to sit down with the priest or the worship or the hallelujah guy, and he was all dressed in robes, and we had to meet with him before we got married. And my wife made me dress
premarital counseling.
The whole ride over, she was like on me, like, I really don't mess this up, blah blah blah. And and I really want to make sure we get married in this church. And so we sit down, and he starts going into his spiel. He knew my wife, Deborah, because of her parents. And my wife's not religious at all, but it's a beautiful church. Anyway, no regrets. And he starts going on about how we had to go.
Me and Dean. Yeah.
That we had to go to these classes about how to treat each other, and about religion. And my wife is starting to do one of these in her chair, and I'm looking panicked, and he looks at me and he goes, "You're not gonna come to any of these meetings, are you?" And I went, "If that's my out, I'll take it."
Yeah.
And he kind of had a bit of a laugh. And then he said, "I'm retiring next month. I don't give a shit."
Is that what he said?
Literally, yes. So I got into the church, got married with the wife, did the whole lit a candle, did the whole thing, and we were able to do it what my wife wanted, and I didn't have to do any of the religious shit. It's awesome.
You know, I'll tell you what, I got married at a golf course the first time. Oh, I've only been married once. And I never get married again, by the way. The fucking word gives me the shakes. But anyway, long story short, I got married at a golf course. So there was no like preamble. There's no like, not a Catholic church. This is fucking, just like, hey, you get married and have a party and get drunk. And that's what we did. So fast forward several years later, I've got a kid he's in Catholic elementary school, and to take first communion, no word of a lie, in the Catholic church, because Catholics are so cool. Yeah, the parents have to have been married in a Catholic church. Have to have. And if you haven't, the kid can't take communion. So his whole class is taking communion. And my ex-wife goes, "We need to go get marriage counseling and then get remarried so he can do this." So we're doing that Thursday. I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
What?
Because I was like,
yes, we're not.
I was already like 2 feet out. I was like, we'd already talked about getting separated, talked about divorce. Like, I'm like, I don't like this. I don't like being married to none of this stuff. Which is, it's a long story. But anyway, long story short, so we go in, and she goes, "You got to go meet with the priest first." And I'm like, "Sure." So we'll go in, we'll meet with the priest. He looks at me, I looked at him. We talked for a minute. He says, "So what do you think? You're up for it? It's like a few days of your life, no big deal, make your marriage better." I'm like, "Listen, none of that's true." I said, "If I give you in this church $1,000 cash, will you let me out of it?" He's like, "Done." I'm like, perfect. So I literally went and got $1,000 cash, handed it to him, and I'm like, "See you later.
You take care."
And I said, "Just do me a favor, Padre. We've had all these meetings. When the time comes to ask," he goes, "I got you."
Fact.
That's
fucking
awesome.
kidding me.
No, fact.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I just bought off the church. Super easy to do. And then I showed up. She's in a dress. I'm in like a sweater with a soup stain on it, and I still haven't showered. I'm hungover from the night before because it meant that much to me. She was a lucky woman, in case you're asking. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's
a fact.
unbelievable.
Speaking
of cover-ups,
yeah. Anyway,
bit of a running theme on the show today.
I wish they'd fucking cover up these ridiculous, and I don't shit on things all the time, but sometimes I do. Have you seen these new Team Canada Olympic outfits?
Lord. What is that?
What the fuck is this?
No, that's a joke, isn't it?
Somebody. I don't know what it is. It's the weirdest shit I've ever seen.
Lululemon.
Lululemon and the Canadian Olympic team have come out with their stuff. And if you can't see it, kids, if you're listening to this podcast on audio only, you can join us at YouTube, Dean Blundell Show, or Dean Blundell TV on Twitch. What you're seeing here is a gentleman wearing what appears to be a fire hydrant-inspired winter outfit.
Dress parka. It's like a dress parka.
You know what that looks like?
It don't understand it. And so I'm trying not to shit on it, but it is a long vest that looks like it hasn't been completed, and then a pillow for a sash, a backpack that also looks like another dress, boots, ball huggers, tight stuff, and like I can't. How would you explain it? How do you explain this? I don't even know what the fuck that is.
I don't know what that is.
I think it would be a million times better if we took the ridiculous looking jacket away. There's better ways to do this jacket. The rest of the stuff, listen, the boots are okay.
You know what?
The
You know what it looks like?
Whatever.
They look like extras from the Dune movie.
Yeah, bad guys.
Like it looks like it's a sci-fi thing. Like it looks really weird.
Yeah,
I would never buy that in a million years.
It's a little much.
I don't get it. Like I don't understand what this and like this guy. I know he's happy because he's making a lot of money, but like they've somehow managed to get John Tavares to wear it, the captain of the Maple Leafs. Have you seen this? John Tavares, at the same time it was announced yesterday, the captain of the Leafs, 2 and 4, they are getting skewered in the news for being so shit. Terrible time for this, but John Tavares is like he's wearing the same, Imperial evil Star Wars outfit that I can't fucking explain.
I can't explain it at all. Like it's just awful. It does. Emily's right. It looks like they're wearing a sleeping bag.
Yeah, she's not wrong.
That's the best way.
If you're an Olympic athlete, Dean, do you have the option to not wear that? Or do you have to wear it?
You know what? What did you guys
like,
think of the jean jacket?
Crosby rocking something like that, or some of these cats, they're not wearing that shit. They're not.
What did you guys think of the jean jackets that they had
in the
summer?
The Summer Olympics were fucking ridiculous too. They just looked like
I didn't.
They were extras in the Fast and the Furious 12. Like they all looked ridiculous.
I
know you did because you're from Alberta. Jean jackets are like fucking Alberta dress code, dude. Yeah. Those are the fucking MacTac jackets. You know what we call it? The Alberta dinner coat. That's what it is.
Yeah. Okay. I'll wear that.
But legitimately, like this the only thing I could find that was anything similar to what Team Canada's outfits are fucking Wanda from WandaVision. Do you remember this? Like it's the same thing.
Yeah,
it's so weird. Looks like fucking Wanda from WandaVision.
You're not kidding, man. It's so weird. That I wonder what what John is thinking right now.
Oh, the boys are gonna rib him hard when after they see that. There's gonna be a big poster size thing of that in the dressing room. Going, look at this fucking clown.
Yeah, he looks like a model for Santa's Village. He really
Go
does.
back to roots. That's from Positive Mike. That's funny.
But I don't even know what it is.
Somebody got stoned in the cutting room. That's what that.
Dude, I like my marijuana, but fuck, I wouldn't come up with something like that.
No, they got baked and then they just,
I was amazed. Like I thought, first of all, I don't even fucking know why we're going to the Winter Olympics with Beijing and their human rights record. Like and I don't even want to get into it because I don't want people to go, oh, look at you with your fucking conspiracy. No, I mean they're fucking they're retraining Uyghurs in concentration camps across the country. They're the human rights violations that are going on in that country, and Canada's like, yeah, let's make some outfits for it.
Well, not only
make us look like fucking ridiculous sci-fi extras.
Gong show that we went through with the 2 Michaels, and there's even more Canadians that are incarcerated in China right now that haven't been dealt with, right? Like that might potentially be innocent as well, right? Like it's not. The thing is, this is the way I'll justify it. The only way to send a message to China is if everybody on the planet said fuck you and didn't show up. That's the only way to make this effective. And that's never going to happen. You're never going to get everybody in the world to agree. Plus, the idea of the Olympics is to unite everybody. So I don't know if you're sending the right message just because you don't like China and you don't like the things that they do, because there's a lot of other countries that do pretty shitty things around the world as well. Yeah. We live above one, and they deserve to, pay the price in certain regards for some of the atrocities they've committed around the world. So if you single out China, who deserve it, I don't know. There's some hypocrisy there, maybe.
Yeah,
right.
I guess so.
And then you're fucking with people who've trained their whole lives.
Yeah.
For that 2 weeks, that 3
shouldn't be
weeks
penalized. Yeah, with like international policy and foreign shit. They should just be allowed to.
Is it fair
to
fuck with their lives because of international disputes that we have no control over? Right. I don't know.
Alexa heard something that it liked. And it's okay, fuck you, Dean.
I was wondering, the hell are you doing, bud? Oh, it's Alexa.
Yeah, she's done now. Thank God. I really appreciate it.
Your
Anyway,
bread's done, Dean. That's Alexa turning off the bread maker.
Yeah, people do that, dude. I've got friends that have houses where you walk in and you're like, unlock the patio door, uncover the pool, shut off the lights, start the dishwasher, like fucking weird shit. But
pour me a beer.
I just
not yet.
It's not happening anytime too. No, I don't think so. Unfortunately, you're gonna have to yell at just upstairs to your wife and see what happens.
I got a quick story, if you'll allow me. About
please.
Me.
You want some story time music, and then we'll bail.
You can totally play some story time music for this. This actually involves me trying to get my wife to bring me a beer. So this was a couple of years ago. I'm a big fan of the World Juniors, and I always take Christmas off to watch the World Juniors. And it was in Europe, so the time change was basically I was coming down to the basement to watch the game at like 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. And one of the first big games, I came downstairs, turned it on. I'm in my underwear. I'm watching the game, and I'm like, I'm off. I know it's 6 o'clock in the morning, but I got cold beer, right? And I had a 12-pack of Budweiser in the fridge, and I went and grabbed one, and it tasted really good. I don't know a lot of people that they're not drinkers like I am. Like I have a problem. And so the best beer in the world is that morning beer. Oh my God.
The morning beer.
Nothing in your stomach. You get a buzz really quick. So I start getting on a roll.
Yeah.
And it's like 2.5 hours in, and I think I've had like 12 beer. So my wife comes downstairs, and she watched me the night before put that case of beer in the fridge, so she knows that there's a 12-pack of beer in the fridge. And she goes to grab something out of the downstairs fridge for breakfast. She's off as well, and she realizes that there is pretty much an empty case of beer in the fridge, and that her husband has been drinking since 6 o'clock in the morning and is shit tanked in the fucking downstairs rec room. So she comes in and she's standing above me, and I'm just tuned. Yeah. And she goes,
"What time of the day is this?"
She goes, "What time did you start drinking?" I went, "I think I started right away, like right at 6, honey." And she says to me, she goes, "Do you know you drank 11 fucking beer in the it's not even 9 o'clock in the morning, and you've had 11 beer." And I went, "You mean there's one left? Can you go get it for me?" That didn't go over well.
You're kidding. So she didn't get it for you? How rude.
You're so fucked in the head.
She didn't get it.
Of course she didn't. Oh my God.
He won't take $3 billion to quit drinking for stories like that.
I don't know I don't have one friend who would ever admit to that story, not only not being true, but would never tell that story. You want to see the comments? This is from our guys at Sheeple Shepherd. Jesus Christ, man. This is from Emily. Doobie. I mean, whatever. This is from Naked Cheese Whiz. 12 beer in 2.5 hours? And question mark.
I was on a roll.
This is from Positive. I was on a roll. This is from Positive. My God Lock. Naked Cheese Whiz says, "Holy shit, you need help." Sheeple Shepherd again. That woman should be fucking canonized. Emily, this is all happening right now. True sign of an alcoholic, Lock. And then my boy Charles Nagy, he's like, "You have to train your dog to get those buds out of the fridge, dude."
Thank you, Clay. I'll work on that. Yeah.
Listen, I've got nothing to say to you, but good for you because you're still married. You're doing something right. Like every friend I know.
Very good. It ain't the paycheck, so no thing. It's not those dangly balls and whatever dangles lower or higher than the balls.
Do you know what I had here at my house this morning at 7 a.m.? 2 guys that are trying to stop drinking that have no stories like that.
Really?
way worse.
You know what? I'll make
You're
them feel
way
better.
worse.
Just get them on the phone. Give
Dude,
my number.
and they're miserable guys. I'm like, if you want to be a happy drunk, what you got to do is talk to Lachlan.
That's the problem. You just got to accept your alcoholism.
I tried that. It didn't work so good.
I can't do
my
whiskey,
stories.
Brendan.
I got worse stories.
Brendan,
than
I can't
that,
do
but
whiskey.
I've
been a beer.
Doesn't tell them.
I've been a beer guy my whole life. I've never been a hard booze guy. I think that's part of the reason why why I have because I think if I would have been on the hard shit, I think I'd be way worse off than I am right now. Trust me, I'm aware that I have a problem. But I'm also strictly a beer guy. I will occasionally jump into the hard booze to get me there quicker, but it's not something that I have to have, right? Like I got a liquor cabinet full of booze upstairs that I don't touch, but bring a case of beer into my house. And it's
forget it. I know, dude. I know how you're telling me the truth. You know how I know is because you just told a story that no one would ever tell in their right mind.
Yeah. Well, if I had alcohol on this bus or in my house, it would get drank. It didn't matter if it was hard beer, wine. I mean, I used to go.
I've always been able to
chase
separate the
holes
hard.
at 6 a.m. at a golf course, and have a bottle of wine in my backpack and just be like it was drinking coffee, and chug it back.
Seriously?
And smoke some weed. Yeah, dude. I was fucking in a dark place for a while. Chugging
I know
wine
guys.
out of the bottle.
I know guys that are way
Changing
worse
holes.
off than me, that are like on vodka or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And they're drinking.
Well, I did that too.
They're pouring vodka into their coffee on the drive into work.
Yeah, I've never done that.
Right. And those guys are shaking. And
Dude, when you go to these, have you ever been to I know you've been to an AA meeting, Bondzee. You've never been locked because AA is for quitters. That's what you told me.
Well,
so
Did I
when you
tell
go to
you-
these meetings, it's fascinating. You're not supposed to talk about it. I'm not even supposed to be talking about this. But when you go to these meetings, it's fascinating because like you're listening to Lachlan's drinking story and we're all having a laugh.
Yeah.
The same story could come out of a different individual and he could be fucking sobbing. Like sobbing. And and then you'll hear it on a podcast and you'll go, right on, baby. But you go to those meetings and you're like, poor fucker. Poor fucker.
We told the boss, and I wanted to double check because I didn't want to get in trouble for this after the fact, but we have a celebrity death pool and we have wagers all the time. Like we get to have 5. What's that? No, my name's not on it yet. Although James has picked me a couple of times, I should start picking him. That
Look
little
at Bondzee.
That's very funny. Is your name on it?
So anyway, we've had lots of like the losers had to become vegan for a month. We've had lots of we always have fun wagers, and the wager right now is the 2 losers have to take they're called Superman pills. They're a mix of Viagra and Cialis, and they're illegal. You have to order them from Mexico. So the 2 losers have to take that in the morning at 5:00 in the morning,
and walk around with a tent all day.
And then we're playing women's volleyball on the TV in the control room through the whole show. So anyway, we haven't had a winner
show
yet.
up there, bud.
The last round, we're on round 14. The last round was in April, and we still haven't had anybody on our list die. And one of the wagers that we had, and we almost went with it, but I said, fuck it, we better ask the boss. We sat him down and we're like, one of the wagers we want to have is the 2 losers have to go to an AA meeting. And he was like, fitting, but no.
Yeah, because there are people that do take that seriously, and when you go, the losers have to go there. That causes a problem in the world of radio, right? Because like you put that on the radio, you're like, the losers have to go to an AA meeting, and there's like people in there fighting for their lives. Some people would take offense to it. I mean, I find it absolutely fucking hysterical because I don't take myself seriously. Also, I have a sense of humor, but the very denotion that people that go into those rooms are losers who are literally fighting for their lives. I could see how that would be a problem with your boss.
I can't believe you even
the boss
took
shut
to
it
him.
down right away.
You're kidding me. I'm shocked.
Bad radio ideas. I got one. You guys want one? This is one. This was one of my ideas. We were gonna do a show, a feature on a show called "Guess That Stereotype."
I love it.
Yeah, where we would do is we would give like different stereotypical things that certain groups, races, sexual proclivities, you give out these things and then someone guesses it. And when they guess it, you tell them that they're racist or homophobic and they don't win. And then you say it's something else.
That's a TV show.
Like you could go bad drivers, right?
Chinese.
You are a fucking racist. Talking about old ladies. That. Way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, now you know how it works. It's a great radio game.
I wasn't on radio very long, but I got a quick story. I got in trouble once. Not in trouble, but my program manager was just, when I called him up, I had this great idea. Well, the kid called me. So he was, I think he was 19. He was going to go over Niagara Falls in a barrel. And this is back in 1992, 2000. And he's like, I'm doing it on a Saturday. I love your show. Can I go live and on your show, and we'll go over the falls. And as I'm going over, I'll be like, I was like, that's the greatest thing I've ever heard. Sure, let's do it. So he's all like, all right. So I called my boss. He said, dude, I got this kid. He's going over the falls in a barrel next weekend, and during my show, we're going to put it live.
It's like 100% illegal.
Are you mental? Like, he literally couldn't believe I called him and wasted his time on a Saturday morning at 8 a.m. to give him the great news.
Give him the great news.
He was upset.
That you're going to do something that's like fucking super illegal and totally deadly live on the radio. Yeah. Listen, even I know that's a bad idea.
Would have got great ratings, though. That's the way I was
looking
at it.
I would have a hard time not doing that. Like, I would have totally done that without telling the boss.
Yeah.
There are things you have to tell the boss because you know they're going to bite you in the ass, and they need to be prepared for it. And if they give you the green light, then you're fine, right? Like, then
because then you've got a partner in crime. Then you can point at listen. If you're in radio, here's a quick little radio little pro tip for you. Anything you want to do on the radio or in media, get your boss's approval. Because if you get in trouble for it, you have a finger to point. You can go, it's him, it's her.
Ding, 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 ding. Yeah.
Wasn't me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there are certain things that
that's how I would get people fired. I would just go, he made me do it. They're like, fuck him then. Get him out.
It was Todd.
That was another one where they fired him. They're like, his contract's up. What do you want us to do? I'm like, I don't really care.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Speaking of odd about being fired or weird.
Yeah. Anyway, long story. But it doesn't matter. Yeah. But thanks for being here, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Diener.
It's a good laugh today.
That was fun.
And serious shit. We talked about some serious shit that matters. We had a couple of laughs. We learned about the inner workings of Rogers a little bit more today. Thanks to Martha. Love her.
This is fun watching.
It's awesome.
This thing, like, fall down the rabbit hole here. This is awesome. Martha, everybody needs to follow Martha. You should put her last tweet up again, Dean, so people can look at her Twitter account. Go follow her, because she is getting a ton of retweets now.
They're all women.
Martha L. Rogers.
Yeah, Martha
L. Rogers.
There's
a bunch of Martha Rogers on Twitter, so you have to type that one in specifically.
Martha L. Rogers, great follow.
Yeah.
Lovely lady.
Yeah,
too.
I'm following her.
Yeah, you should. It's great. It's super entertaining. I know. Listen, I know we shouldn't be laughing at this, but we kind of. There's no other alternative. You got to laugh at it. I mean,
it's crazy, man, what they're doing.
Yeah.
Like, this is, and it's every time I mention this to anybody from Rogers, they say the same thing. It's like Succession, isn't it? It is. If you guys haven't seen that show, it's an unbelievable show. The third season just started on HBO, so you get it in Canada on Crave, and it is a really good watch if you haven't added it to your watch list yet.
It's exactly
totally this.
It's infighting, it's lying, it's cheating, it's stealing, it's everything. It's people, like taking side, but it's a little bit different because in that one, like, everybody's out for themselves and people switch sides. In this one, it's like it's Ed versus everybody. So, but it's still fucking the same. I mean, the same premise, but you got to watch it. That is Lachlan Cross, 95.7 Cruise FM at Edmonton is where you can find him at Lachlan Cross on Twitter. Appreciate you, brother. And that is Greg Bondzee Live podcast tonight, Bondzee. You got a little podski tonight?
Yep. 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Tripping with Bondzee on YouTube and the Dean Blundell Network. We're going to talk penis plants. These things are unbelievable. We'll leave it at that. And then we're also going to showcase my parents' house.
Penis plants.
Yeah, dude, you got to check this out. So they only bloom every 25 years. And when they do,
they look like a penis.
A penis. And the kicker, it only lasts for like 2 or 3 days and then it's gone. It's the craziest thing, and it's the coolest looking plant. So we're going to talk about that, and then my
then you're going to talk about mom and dad. Sounds like a perfect mix of a show.
Yeah, sure. They're Halloween crazy. They do their house up in the most insane way I've ever seen, and they raise money every year for sick kids. My nephew almost died 7 weeks into his life. He had a heart attack, open heart surgery. Sick kid saved his life. My parents have been on a mission ever since to raise as much money as they can for that hospital.
Good.
So.
That does not surprise me that is your parents, Bondzee.
They're dude.
100%.
I don't know how the hell I ever came from them, because
I see it. I totally see it.
A lot different than I am.
No,
but they're wonderful.
You're
folks.
a good fucking dude, man. You're a good guy.
Yeah, and your podcast has been great. Like, your content's been amazing. Tripping with Bondzee on YouTube. If you get a chance to go and watch it, some of the content that you've done has been incredible. So good for you. I mean, you went down there, you developed a major drinking problem. You got stuck in Texas for
I didn't develop it here. I already had it.
You took it down with you.
It came with me. And it's funny because I went
in Texas.
Well, yeah. Well, I stopped for 4 months, which was what led to doing this, and the confidence and everything. And then, traveling right away with an individual that you just didn't really fit with and shouldn't have been here in the first place. That led me to start drinking pretty heavily right away again. And now I'm doing great.
I think fucking Dean told you that was a bad idea. I remember right at the beginning said, when you started telling us about this woman that was going down there with you, he was like, "This is a bad idea. This is just as like no written all over it.
Not gonna work."
I remember that. Yeah,
and it didn't. It lasted 2 weeks.
When have I been wrong?
Well, you haven't wrong with me. To be honest with you, Dean, we've had some pretty solid human, heart-to-heart conversations, and you haven't been wrong yet.
No, I'm not wrong.
I'll be sure to let you know.
I have been listening. I'm reading those books, and I'm, listen. I feel great. The kudos that I've been getting from all you guys.
I've been ignoring all your stoicism emails and suggestions.
I don't care.
The way.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, I know you guys say they don't take the compliments well, but I appreciate y'all. And listen, we'll keep this journey going.
Yeah, boy. Tripping with Bondzee is where you can find him on YouTube at Bondzee Live, on Twitter. He's
good
to see
man. Both of you guys today.
Yeah, great to see you too. Good stuff, Bondzee. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Locke. Thanks, Greg. Really appreciate it. Good to see you. Thanks so much, and we'll talk to you guys soon. It was fun. Low key today. Not a lot of guffaws. Some information, a little entertainment. Call it a day. Gotta go Halloween shopping with my son now. Halloween shopping 15. He's like, I want to be a douchebag for Halloween. Like, oh, you're going as me. And he's like, no, I want to get like Bermuda shorts, Hawaiian shirt, the white, suntan lotion on the nose, the glasses, the straw hat, like a drunk frat boy on a all-inclusive. I'm like, yeah, let's go to Winners or Stitches. So that's what we're doing. Getting ready for Halloween. And I seriously hope you guys have a great day, too. Thank you very much for being part of the show. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, you can download everything we do at DeanBlundell.com, where right now you can learn all about the things we talked about today, including the Craft Jesus at-home crucifixion kit. And you can also learn about all the stuff we talked about, including the Chicago Blackhawks, media's responsibility in that. Go to DeanBlundell.com. You can read all about Doug Ford's daughter, who's not interested in being part of the solution, which we talked about yesterday. You can read everything there. Lots of great stuff. Lots of great cooking tips as well from our boy Ryan Lindley. Go check it out, DeanBlundell.com. Sign up for a newsletter there, too. That'd be great. And thanks to our friends at Ed's Fine Imports. His underwear are on my body right now. He's got boxer briefs, pouch at the front, super luxurious. You will love them. edsfineimports.com. Promo code is GITCH3. He's got clothing for men and boys online, full online store as well. So go to edsfineimports.com. Again, promo code is GITCH, and then the number 3, you get an extra pair of underwear free when you order something from Ed. Clothing for men and boys. Great stuff for the kids. EasyAutoFinancial.ca. Our friends over at EasyAutoFinancial.ca know it's hard to get in a car. It's hard to get the financing, then go shop for a vehicle. So they do everything for you at your request. It doesn't cost you a dime. EasyAutoFinancial.ca. Visit them today. No obligation. Got bad credit, good credit, doesn't matter. They're credit masters. And they want to make it turnkey. So go to EasyAutoFinancial.ca if you're looking for a vehicle. Any car. Doesn't matter what kind. Used, new, electric, gas, scooters. They got everything. And our friends at Domination, making it super easy for you to do content. Go to dmntn.com today. Check out what they do. It's like AI for people that produce content. So, you know, when you're editing a promo that you're going to put up on Twitter or Instagram, or you're trying to compress your stuff into like one little feature, you feed your file of your show into Domination's super AI machine, and it spits out like 72 pieces of content. All prepped, ready to go. Boom, intros, extras. It is brilliant. Try them today. Go to dmntn.com. Again, dmntn.com. Try them for free today. And Blue Microphones. We are, of course, an official partner of Blue Microphones, part of the Blue Crew here at deanblundell.com. We use everything Blue has, including Logitech cameras. Logitech is the ownership group of Blue Microphones, believe it or not. Fucking awesome group of people too, and like stuff that people use for gaming, streaming, podcasting. Doesn't matter. They got cameras. They got these headphones. They've got MoFi headphones. That's what these are. They're Grammy Award winning, by the way. Incredible. And I use the Blue 80X mic. You can use whatever mic you have. They got tons, and they're the best in the business. Go to bluemic.com or add Blue Microphones on Twitter and check them out today. Sign up for a newsletter at the website as well. We'd appreciate that at deanblundell.com. Thanks to everybody for being part of the program. We'll see you here tomorrow, right around 3 o'clock.